Hello, and thank you for choosing ProspectX. Today I want to just do a brief overview video of the system. As a side note, I've made kind of more specific videos about each module, each tab here. So if you need more info on how to pull a list, how to filter, I have a video for all of that, how data management works, how to skip trace, create a campaign, build a website, use our CRM and run some KPIs. But for this video, I just want to kind of show you kind of the top overview look. So here's what we have to offer. We have a data section here. This is where people come in to buy lists. They can stack the list, do anything that they need in data management. They can come in, use these filters or the quick filters we have here. You're looking for an inherited list. Come in. You could select visible, all, or another custom amount. Add that. You could add that to an existing list or create a list from scratch. Same with tags. Pending on which subscription you have will be if you have any free leads per month or not in the data section. But that is that. After you've purchased these leads, a lead is just a property. You could run comps, see the related properties, things of that nature. But after you've actually purchased a list, come into data management. Here, you can filter by your list and do kind of a bit more advanced filtering if need be. You can always select the visible, select all, deselect all. Need be, you could skip trace direct from here, opt them out, append them to a new list, things like that. You could bulk import. That is done with a CSV or Excel file. And that's pretty much the data section. We have our skip trace section here. We could run a single skip, or we can skip trace just a single person and then pull up some more info that they might have. Or we can bulk skip. Kind of like what we had done here. We skip traced 1,000, total hit of 894. In the ProspectX system, we only charge for the hits. Just kind of keep that in mind. So we could single skip, we could bulk skip, and we could skip trace an existing list that would be found in data management. Excuse me. Kind of working down the way here. We have campaigns, guys. This is a place for you to keep track of all the campaigns that you have. So let's say you have a sign on Central Avenue. There might be an actual phone number on there. You could always just have a number attached there. If somebody calls that, it'll create a lead within ProspectX, and you can keep track of that campaign through there. You can always assign who the responsible user is of the campaign, and they will kind of keep track of making sure that this campaign is being monitored. And if you want to just auto-assign a lead manager, if a lead gets created through this campaign, we will auto-assign them to a specific lead manager. We also have a drip campaign system built in the ProspectX CRM. You can create the test drip here. Add more templates if you need to send a SMS or an email, and you could say when that actually sends. So come in here, you configure the actual CRM drip, include anything you want to actually be sent, and then let's say I want to send this after 1 day. If I was to come into my CRM, go into seller leads, and choose a drip. Let's say I did my test drip. After 1 day has passed, if I had chose this for 1 day, that lead would actually get this SMS. So you can just kind of have this, you set it, you forget it, you assign it to a lead, and it kind of just sends them messages throughout how you have it configured. Next tab here is website. We offer the ability to just basically build a landing page or a website from scratch. We have some info on if you need to point your domain. add a site from scratch here. We can preview one that we already have. This can be kind of a campaign too. You will keep track of all of these leads that are getting generated from your website and be able to track them in your KPIs. If need be, we can edit it. This is the actual web builder. We can always just drag and drop things as we see fit. And yeah, be able to kind of plug and play and add new features where we need them, right? We have forms and buttons. And that form would basically be exactly how we were looking at the one earlier. Enter your name and email, get my offer now, that sort of thing. We can see how it looks on phone, tablet, and then computer, your PC. And that is the web builder. Like I had said, guys, I have videos that go into much greater detail about all of these, so please just check them out at our help page, which of course can be found here on the top right-hand corner. The CRM is where the majority of your business will actually be handled from. It's pretty common to have your lead managers just start every day by coming into CRM, seller lead. They could go to their leads, check out the new, and just start working down their list. Here is the view of what a seller lead manager would look like. We can add a number, an email. It'll probably yell at me when I do this. Oh, it did. Okay, good. Yeah, we could add all this sort of pertinent information into the lead. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. If we have a verified address, there it is. And then you work your lead, go through deal actions. We have the ability to e-sign and send contracts there. We use EverSign as a side note. You could always manually send them a contract. They could print this out, physically sign it, scan it back to you. You could have a list of attachments here. You could run comps as well. We have the ability to leave comments kind of just internally. So if you have multiple lead managers, they can read the comments about the actual seller lead itself. We have the ability to communicate. We have the phone dialer built directly in the system where we could generate calls, choose what from number we have, send SMS and email. Since we do have multiple numbers and emails we could choose from, this show all feature will actually come into play for you. That'll be very useful. We have a task list. So if we have created task within the lead itself, or we came up here and created tasks through the calendar, any pending task for this seller lead will be listed here. So that's just another way for you to kind of not have to go to multiple pages to find the same information. Besides seller leads, we can, of course, move things from transactions. So if we acquired a property from a seller lead, we can move that to transactions, where we can then choose to market it. If we want to find a buyer, we can market it. But if we need to, we just purchase this from a seller lead. We will complete the actual process of purchasing that property from them, and then that can be done through the closing stage and things like that. When we're ready to assign it, we could assign it directly from here, or we could assign it if we go from marketing to sales. That will push this transaction over to disposition. I mentioned we could e-sign. We can also just look at the list of all e-signature contracts we have, either pending, completed, things like that. We could draft a contract directly from here as well if we don't want to do it from the seller lead or the transaction. And yeah, we will kind of have it color coordinated. We could see when people have signed, where it's at, who we're waiting on, that kind of thing. Excuse me. Assets Anytime you purchase a property from a seller lead, you move it to transaction, it will automatically move to assets as well. Here we'll just have kind of an inventory list of all the properties that we own. We could come in here, just have very surface level information shown here, and be able to keep track of our inventory. We have CRM settings. You will find this to be extremely useful. Enter your company detail info. Enter the pre-built messages that you can fire off to your seller leads and let them know that you try to contact them, you've made an offer, things like that. We have contracts that are pre-built in the system. You can always just drag and drop your own here, but we always recommend copy and paste this to a Word document. So you always have the contract that comes default with the system. We have an assignment contract as well in case you're trying to assign a property that you had purchased. We have the round robin feature to round robin our lead managers. So if we add our leads, we don't have to manually assign them to managers. We could just round robin them. As a note, if no one's selected, the admin will be the default manager. We have the advanced lead assignment. Let's say you have a lead manager who's also your disposition manager, but he's no longer going to be the dispo manager. So if I remove him here, I could reassign all of ProspectX dispositions just directly from here. So I would come in, choose ProspectX or Kyler Murray, that works fine too. Reassign, you choose what you want reassigned, right? And the last tab or module that we're going to cover, the reports. This is where you're going to do all your KPIs to keep track of your team, monitor them, make sure that they are doing it right. If not, you can use these metrics to be able to assist them in doing their job a bit better. We have this tooltip that kind of gives you a bit more info. Again, I have made videos that goes into more explicit detail about this, so please check out that video if you need more information. You can find anything from data management, so that's like when we were looking at data, all the lists that we've purchased and imported into data management, and also the ones we've exported as well. All of our skip tracing, a side note, you only get charged for your hits, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, you can keep track of how many orders you've submitted, what kind of rates you're getting back on the hits, that kind of thing. Your website's reports will keep track of how many leads have been generated from the actual website that you built, how many visitors you've had, things like that. Campaigns, any campaign that you have, you can keep track of how many leads you are creating, how many contracts based off of these campaigns have you actually secured, that kind of information. 2 subpoints here, you can choose the campaign or you could choose all campaigns, and also you could choose on a date range. We have all time as the date range that you could select as well. Those are the modules, guys. Down here on the bottom left is how we get in touch with our support team. So please just open this, reach out to them. They're more than helpful. I assist with them as well. So if they have any questions, I'll be able to help you guys directly through there as well. Before I leave you guys, let's just kind of cover this top section. We have our balance where we could just always add a new balance. The balance will be used when you're purchasing lists, when you're making phone calls, sending e-signatures, things like that. We have a notification thing here. I could say I just read all of them by just clicking that. The calendar, which I had mentioned earlier, we can create tasks directly from here or within the seller lead like I had shown you. You can create it from here as well. This is pretty easy. Test task, you choose who you want this assigned to. The task 4 is who is the seller lead. So we'll just choose the top one. We could leave a description of what we actually need to get done in this task. Choose the date and time. Of course, the end time should be after the beginning time. If you need a reminder, you could have one emailed to you. That'll be sent to who is responsible for this task, and then you just choose how many minutes before you want that sent. You could also just remove it entirely if you want. That's up to you. Choose the temperature and click Create. There's my test task. When I'm completed with it, I can mark it as done and update. Like I said, we have the help page here. Just click there, and all the videos that I'm creating, the one that you're watching, actually will also live in here as well. So definitely take use of that. That will help you quite a bit. I made a video covering the settings tab as well, and some articles that go into more depth about each tab. But here is where you'll come in to toggle on your email notifications. If you need to change your password, you'll go into profile, change password. If you want to update your billing, come in through here. My prices, of course, are really great. This is my test account, guys, so please don't be too worried about that. We have these tooltips that'll give you some more info on the price breakdowns for everything. If you have any freebies, you'll be able to see them here as well. You can update your payment info, enable auto refill balance. So if it goes below a certain point, you could recharge a certain amount. And then all the invoices that you've created by being subscribed to ProspectX will be found here as well. Let's see, what else can I cover, guys? I mean, I've probably already overwhelmed you, and I apologize. Adding users, of course, we have different permissions that we could assign them based off what we need them to do. So if we just need them to work in our CRM, we'll assign them some phone numbers. You'll see we could always assign all of our phone numbers just on a click. Let's say we have a new seller lead manager. I would create him like this. I would just say, okay, he doesn't need access to campaigns or Skiptrace or anything like that. Just CRM, specifically the seller leads. If I want, I could allow him to delete, and I'll enter his information here. This will create the user. He'll be activated by going to the emails that we just sent off to him to activate and be able to log in. The phone system is where you come in and actually buy the numbers. You purchase a number here. If your number gets marked as spam, follow this. How to port a number, we have that info here as well. And yeah, you purchase the number. You choose a forwarding number for it. You can toggle if you want to record the call. If you want to toggle the voicemail, and to just automatically generate a seller lead if somebody calls this PhoneX number. We have call flows. You basically just design the flow once. Let's say you have a team of seller leads. You add all their forwarding numbers here once, and then when you purchase a new number, you just come in, you add that flow directly, as opposed to coming in and adding them one by one to each PhoneX number. If need be, you could resend the emails out if you need to re-verify an email or activate a sub-user. Just choose which user you want to activate or which email you need to verify. Send that back out, and that's how that'll be done. That is the overview of the ProspectX system, guys. Like I said, I have videos for seller leads, for transactions, for CRM settings, for reports. I try to make as much in-depth videos as possible, so if you have any questions, you always have the resources available, either our support team or our help page. So thank you so much for choosing ProspectX, and we hope you found this video informative.